Good evening. Welcome to this Tuesday, April 1st, 2014 meeting of the Raymore Planning and Zoning Commission. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remember to make sure your microphone is lighted green and speak into the microphone for the record. And we'll call roll. Commissioner Anderson. Commissioner Burke.
Present.
Commissioner Crane. Commissioner Fizer.
Present.
Commissioner Grodsky.
Present.
Commissioner Hanner. Commissioner Meiske.
Present.
Mayor Kirchhoff.
Present.
And Commissioner Faulkner is present. We do have a quorum. We have no personal appearances scheduled this evening. One item on the consent agenda, which is acceptance of minutes from our March 18th, 2014 meeting. And unless any of the commissioners have any concerns about the minutes, I would entertain a motion either to accept minutes of the March 18th meeting as presented or to accept the consent agenda as you wish. Yeah. Commissioner Burke?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a proposal that we accept the minutes from the consent agenda from March 18th, 2014.
As presented?
As presented.
That's a motion?
Yes.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Meiske. So we have a motion by Commissioner Burke, second by Commissioner Meiske to accept minutes of our March 18th, 2014 meeting as presented. All those in favor raise a hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is 6 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. We have nothing this evening under old business and 2 cases this evening under new business. And we will start with case 14001, Foxwood Plaza rezoning from R3A to PUD, Planned Unit Development. And I can always guess, is the applicant representing the applicant? Would you like to present your case?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I was expecting the staff report first. So,
Well, we have to keep you on your toes.
yeah, you do. Mark Klinkenberg Law Firm, 216 North State Route 7, Pleasant Hill, Missouri, 64080, on behalf of the applicant, Foxwood Plaza LLC. And what we're bringing forward tonight is merely a change, and it's a 2-part piece, as you'll see. But what we're doing is we're wanting to take a piece of what is Lot 4 currently in the multifamily residential area, and we want to rezone it into the PUD in order to make what is currently known as Lot 3. I think on the legal description it's Lot 1 on the new legal description, but it's currently known as Lot 3 in the commercial development. And the reason we're doing that is to make that a full 2-acre lot because we have some significant interest from a nationally recognized sit-down chain restaurant, and that's the extent of what I can disclose, that wants 2 acres. And so without having the 2 acres, we wouldn't be able to bring them in. Now, granted, if you deem it wise to pass this on to City Council, and City Council approves it, there's no guarantee that even with the 2 acres we will get the restaurant. But without the restaurant, or without the 2 acres, it is a given that we won't get it. because they've already said that they have to have 2 acres. And that's pretty much the gist of what we're asking for, is to just rezone that area. That area was not planned for any of the residential development anyway, that is planned, that you'll be hearing, I think, later on this spring from them. So we're not taking away anything. Even if we were, we would be taking away from multifamily and changing it to commercial, which is generally deemed to be a good thing. So I respectfully request your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Klinkenberg.
Thank you.
Mr. Cataract, if you'd like to give us the staff report?
Yes, sir, thank you. A few items to add to what the applicant's representative indicated. This property, just for general location, is on the east side of Mott Drive, south of Foxwood Drive. It's at the eastern end of Cinnabar Drive. That provides a connection between the Legends subdivision and the Foxhaven subdivision to the west. The surrounding zoning of the area, the land area to the north, which is part of the commercial area of the Legends, is zoned PUD. To the south, the zoning is R3A, which is our multifamily, generally our townhome zoning category. To the east is the C3, which is the regional commercial district. This is undeveloped land that's currently owned by the Dean family. And then to the west, we have on the north side of Cinnabar, we have the planned unit development zoning. And to the south, we have the R3A multifamily. The planned unit development zoning that currently exists in the commercial part of the Legends is a commercial planned unit development. And it does allow uses that are permitted within our professional office, our C1 and our C2 zoning district. I want to note that the area that is proposed for rezoning, and this area is right around a half an acre in size. It's 21,889 square foot. But this particular ground area is currently classified as multifamily on the land use plan. So it does not, the request for the zoning does not comply with the land use plan. I did identify 2 goals of our growth management plan that this particular request would comply with. And again, I want to note, the requested rezoning is not required to comply with the land use plan. It's generally one of the items that we look at when we're looking at a rezoning request. But it is compliant with 2 of our goals. And I also want to note, out of our thoroughfare plan, Mott Drive, which is adjacent to the tract, is classified as a local street. Mm-hmm. The rezoning requires a public hearing, so we advertise that for this evening. And I need to enter into the record the notices that we sent to all the adjoining property owners. The notice of publication in the Journal, our Unified Development Code, the application that was submitted, a growth management plan, and the staff report submitted to you this evening. The Legends at Raymore, the final plat for the entire area, the commercial and the residential area, was first approved in 2003. And there were 3 lots, commercial lots located along Foxwood Drive. And then residential was from that point south. At that time, we had residential on the north side of Cinnabar Drive and going all the way to the south part of the subdivision. At that time, there were 156 townhomes proposed for the residential area. In 2008, the property owner rezoned the land area, the commercial lots, to the planned unit development, and then at that time also increased the area of the commercial down to Cinnabar. So the zoning that you see in place today is what was created in 2008. And at that same time, Lot 3, the commercial lot that Mr. Klinkenberg talked about, was increased in size at that time to its current size. When you request a plan unit development zoning, there is a requirement that a preliminary plan be submitted. Basically shows a conceptual layout of the commercial area, and that was done in 2008. And I included a small version of that in your packet. What it shows for this particular property, the Lot 3 that we're talking about, was a retail building. I think it was a multi-tenant building proposed at the time, with general parking layout around it. So that's currently the approved preliminary plan for the lot. Mr. Klinkenberg identified a residential project that'll be coming forward later this year. The land area, the undeveloped land area within the residential area of the Legends. And this is the land area on the outer perimeter of the site. It is not the undeveloped land area immediately adjacent to the detention basin. But on the outer perimeter of the site, there's a proposed project that actually has approval to be constructed. It's known as the Ridgeway Villas at the Legends. It is a townhome development, similar to the townhomes that are currently there. It does have a reduced density, so the overall number of units is less than what was initially approved for the area. And that project, it actually may come forward to you. They may be doing a replat, which is why possibly you would be looking at that project. But I have included the conceptual plan that they had submitted to City Council earlier this year, where they were discussing a tax credit application that they were making. And this preliminary plan shows the general layout of the townhomes on the exterior of the roadways. And I do want to note that the area proposed for rezoning is identified on the Ridgeway Villas plan. It's identified as partial lot 4. They basically excluded it from their plan. So they were aware of the intention of the applicant, perhaps of adding this land area that's proposed for rezoning to the commercial. Additionally, they have situated their office to be immediately adjacent to this commercial area, somewhat as a barrier between any residential unit and a potential commercial use on this property. So some good planning went into place when Ridgeway Villas was coming along, and good coordination with the property owner to try to alleviate any possible impacts commercial would have. The rezoning does require the good neighbor informational meeting notice, which we did send out. In this instance, we sent the notification out, identified if anybody had an interest in having the good neighbor meeting to contact staff. We do that in a few instances when we have what's considered to be a minor rezoning application with limited number of property owners impacted. We did it in this case. I did not have any contact from anybody that was notified or from anybody that was aware of the rezoning application. So we did not hold a good neighbor meeting. I did talk with one resident, one of the property owners of one of the townhome units, but there's no objection to the proposed rezoning. The engineering division submitted a memorandum regarding the provision of facilities to this property. There is adequate public water, sanitary sewer, and stormwater capacity for development on this property. The land uses that would be allowed in the area proposed for rezoning and all the PUD are, again, those uses that are allowed in the professional office, C1 commercial and C2 commercial. So I've identified those uses in the table in your staff report. The plan unit development, when it first got established, there were specific development standards, setbacks that were created for any development on the property, so I included what those requirements are. They're not proposed to be changed. I do want to note that the next item on your agenda is a final plat application. And I'm noting it because the final plat does show a build line on what would be this new Lot 1. And the build line is actually the current southern boundary of the plan unit development. So we are proposing to rezone this particular area, but there would be no building constructed on this particular commercial area that's before you tonight. The build line restricts any building from being upon this area. There would, though, likely be a parking, perhaps it could be a dumpster location on this property. There would be screening required of anything that occurs on this property, screening between the use and the residential use to the south. But I thought it was important to note the build line provision. And as the applicant's representative indicated, although the preliminary plan that was approved showed a multi-tenant building Currently, they're working towards a one-use tenant that would be allowed as when they come in for site plan approval. It's a modification for the preliminary plan, but generally, I think the layout of access and parking would remain similar to the preliminary plan. So I know that would be allowed. And also just note that there is a memorandum of understanding that was established when the initial planned unit zoning was created, and that does run with the property. Any new owner would have to comply with the terms of the MOU. We have submitted proposed findings on the rezoning request, and we recommend that the commission accept those findings and forward this case to the city council with a recommendation of approval. And that concludes staff report.
Mhm. Thank you, Mr. Catarat. Unless anyone has questions right now about staff report, I'll open the public hearing on case 14011, Foxwood Plaza rezoning from R3A to PUD. And if anyone from the public wishes to come forward and speak on this case, please do so. And seeing no one, get to use the gavel rarely, but we'll close the public hearing and open the floor for the commission.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Meiske.
I have a question, Mr. Cataract. When you say that that piece of property, there's no build on it, that means that there's no building gonna go on it. How about just to the south? Are they gonna be allowed to put the townhomes and stuff? I mean, is the whole thing there no build, or?
The area that the owner is designated as a no-build area is just the property that's proposed for rezoning, just the
Okay.
area that's within on the map you're looking at, just the area outlined in red.
Right,
And so again, they can do parking in there and.
right,
and
but everything to the south, that can be built on?
that could still be
Okay.
built on so
Okay.
that the office for the new Ridgeway Villas would be allowed there and the townhome units
Okay.
would be allowed.
And Mr. Zur, if you'll keep an eye on me here while I say this. So one of the things that I believe, if Mr. Zur doesn't correct me, is that the current case, 14011, is strictly a rezoning case. And so for the property there at the junction of the current PUD and R3A, basically, as far as I'm concerned, for this case, it's strictly a rezoning question. It's not really a question of site plan. That comes later. So this is really a question of land use, and I'd kind of paraphrase and say, well, so the question to me is, we have PUD on the north, R3A on the south. If we approve the case, we'll still have that same arrangement. It's just
Right.
that the boundary line will shift
That-
slightly to the south. So look at the impact not only on those two adjacent properties, but look at potential impact on the surrounding properties and see what you think regarding
I was just a little
rezoning.
confused on when he said no build. I was
Right.
thinking he was thinking no build on
Right.
everything.
Well, and this happens to us, I think, every time that we hear two related cases in the
Right.
same evening, they tend to blend over into each other. Mr. Catarat?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the reason I said that, because I think that no-build provision has bearing on the rezoning case.
Okay,
Because
thank
what
you.
it's saying is that to an adjacent property owner or somebody in the townhomes, even though we're rezoning that area to commercial, no building is going to extend down into that area. The zoning would allow it,
Right,
but the plat restriction will
Right.
not allow it. So I think it does have a bearing on the
Okay.
zoning, because as you're looking at it, it's like, well, okay, there's a difference between parking being there and the building
Agreed.
walls being there. So that's
Agreed.
why I mentioned that.
I looked at it as we're hearing a rezoning case, and the fact of the building line, I appreciate you pointing out why that is more relevant. Mr. Zur, agree?
Yeah, I am speaking now.
Thanks.
Sorry.
No, that's good. It was a very good question, Commissioner Meiske. Any other questions, comments by the commission? Anyone care to propose a motion on case 14011? It's a dirty job, but somebody's always got to be first. All right, motion by Commissioner Faulkner. If you wait long enough, I'll let the suspense build and then it'll get to me. Motion by Commissioner Faulkner to accept staff proposed findings of fact and forward case 14011, Foxwood Plaza rezoning to City Council with a recommendation of approval.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Burke. I saw him first, sorry. Is there any further discussion on case 14001? Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to accept staff proposed findings of fact on this case and forward to City Council with the recommendation of approval. All those in favor, raise a hand, please. 5, 6, and it is 6 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. And that will take us to the next case, 14010, Foxwood Plaza Lot 1, final plat. And Mr. Klinkenberg, if you'd like to do the honors and present this case to us this evening, we would appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, this is related to what you just reviewed. And the only thing that I would have to add is maybe just a little bit of reasoning behind the no-build line, and whether it's not particularly relevant to your decision, but it is relevant to the city overall.
Yeah.
And that is that area that is currently under the PUD is also under a tax increment financing
Right.
district and also a community improvement district.
Huh?
Those boundaries were all the same. And so by adding this 21,900 some square feet to that PUD, we're not changing the boundaries of the TIF or the CID. Therefore, we need to remain within those boundaries on any building, because then you run into all kinds of problems with sales tax generation, real property taxes, that kind of thing, if we don't do that. And so that's why that area, another reason why that area, not only is it a buffer, but it also makes it much easier to deal with it just being parking or possibly dumpster location, something along those lines. But again, all we're doing is moving that boundary line to the south, and along with that, you'll note there's an existing easement
Right.
at the current boundary. We will be moving that easement as well. There is nothing within that easement at the time.
Mhm.
So that is just for future construction, for a utility easement. So there's nothing there to be moved physically. We're just moving that easement line down to the southern boundary so that it's not running through the middle of the lot. And
Right.
that's
Thank you.
it. I'm
Appreciate
available
it,
for
Mr.
questions. Thank you,
Klinkenberg.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Mr. Catteret, if you would, give us the staff report on case 14010.
Yes, sir, thank you. The specific plat before you does have a new reference name as Foxwood Plaza Lot 1. This is technically a replat of Lot 3, and And in essence, the north 125 feet of Lot 4 of the Legends at Raymore final plat that was recorded, initially back in 2003. And as Mr. Klinkenberg indicated, this final plat application does end up creating a new 2-acre lot that is going to be known as Lot 1 Foxwood Plaza. Mr. Klinkenberg did note that the replat does eliminate an existing easement, which is permissible. There are no utilities within that easement, so that easement is being shifted, as indicated, to the south property line. I do note that when construction does occur on this property, there will be a sidewalk required along Mott Drive from the 58 highway sidewalk down to the southern property line. And again, note that public infrastructure to serve this property has already been installed and provided for the development. For the final plat, staff did submit proposed findings for your consideration, and we recommend that the commission accept those findings, and forward this case, 14010, to the city council with a recommendation of approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cataract. And so final plat, I don't believe requires a public hearing. We'll open the floor for discussion by the commission on case 14010, Foxwood Plaza, Lot 1, final plat. Mr. Cataract, I'll start with a question. So I think Mr. Klinkenberg actually mentioned this, I believe, when we were talking about the earlier case, but you just touched on it as well. When I look at the final plat, I see what appear to be 2 Lot 1s, which looks like confusion factor. I think I might feel quite a bit better about that if you would clarify for me the new lot on the east, which includes the additional ½ acre to the south, is called Lot 1 Foxwood Plaza. Is the other Lot 1 shown to the west actually Lot 1 of something else?
That's correct. Yeah, the Lot 1 that you see to the west is Lot 1 of the Legends at
Okay.
Raymore.
So
Rather than retitle this, we could have kept the Legends title, but it would have been a replat of a replat of the.
Right.
It's simpler to have a new title for
I think it was going to be messy either way. It's just that
Yeah.
when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, why am I seeing 2 Lot
Yeah.
1s? And can't say that I was terribly fond of it, but if it's Lot 1 of this and Lot 1 of that, then they're not the same. It's actually clear to somebody.
It actually is clear what you're.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. I feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you. Other commissioners have questions about this case? Or Mr. Mayor? All right, not that I'm keeping score, but I made the last motion, so somebody else has to make this one.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Burke.
thank you. I'd like to make a motion to accept staff proposed findings of fact to approve case 14010, Foxwood Plaza Lot 1 final plat, as proposed to City Council for approval.
Yep, I can work with that.
I'll second.
And second by Commissioner Meiske. So I'll see if I can phrase that accurately. Oh, thank you. So we have a motion by Commissioner Burke, second by Commissioner Meiske, to accept staff proposed findings of fact to approve case 14010, Foxwood Plaza Lot 1 final plat as proposed, and I'm going to say forward to City Council with a recommendation of approval. Something like that. Sound right?
Yes.
Any further discussion on case 14010? All those in favor, raise a hand, please. And that is 6 in favor. None opposed, no abstentions. Thank you, Mr. Klinkenberg. And that will take us ahead to City Council report. Mr. Zur.
Chairman Faulkner, pleasure to be able to come down and visit you all again. And I do have a staff report a city council report provided by Mr. Willerth for 2 city council meetings since your last discussion. First one I will discuss is from the Monday, March 10th, 2014. 3 items on that agenda that were of interest for Mr. Willerth that he wanted me to pass along to you. First of those items was the rezoning of the North Cass Plaza at the Good Ranch. This was approved by a vote of 7-0. You'll recall this was the alterations that you saw on March 4th and approved unanimously as presented by David Otis, representing Good Otis LLC. This altered 34.5 acres of land located on the north side of, on North Cass Parkway, east of Interstate 49, from A Agricultural District to C3 Regional Commercial District, and reclassification of 113.5 acres from A Agricultural to the BP Business Park District. That was approved at the first reading by the City Council on a vote of 7-0 and passed for a second reading, which will occur on the March 24th, or did occur on the March 24th meeting. Next item that came before the City Council was a preliminary plat extension for the Arbor Hill subdivision. This one failed by a vote of 3-4. Originally, Bain Stout Development LLC had come forward requesting an extension of their original preliminary plat. The final determination from the City Council was not to extend that plat based upon the recent discussions that I think we've had on plat extensions and what we were doing there. The next one was a similar item, Alexander Creek preliminary plan extension. This one did in fact pass by a vote of 6-0 with 1 abstaining. This one allowed for a 1-year extension of the preliminary plan for Alexander Creek. That is all I have with regard to the March 10th, 2014 City Council report. If you've got questions, I'm happy to answer that now. Otherwise, I will move on to the March 24th. And of course, I'd always invite the mayor to supplement my discussion since he was there and in person.
But don't remember a thing.
Don't say that.
Perhaps that's good.
The March 24th, 2014 City Council meeting also occurred. At that meeting, there were second readings with regard to the rezoning of the North Cass Plaza at the Good Ranch. Again, this was the alteration of the 34.5 acres to a C3 designation and 113.5 acres to the BP Business Park designation. It was approved and passed by a vote of 8-0, so that rezoning has taken place and has been approved by the City Council. Next item on the list is the preliminary plat for the North Cass Plaza. This was up for a first reading. You all saw this on March 4th and approved it by a vote of 8-0. This was a 12-lot commercial and business park subdivision located within the Good Otis development. This one is also approved as a first reading by the City Council on an 8-0 vote. The next item is a High Point at Creekmore second plat, which received final approval for a final plat. It was approved by the City Council by a vote of 8-0. This is requesting a final plat approval for High Point at Creekmore second plat, which was a 24-lot single-family subdivision along Creekmore Pond Lane in the Creekmore subdivision. Next 2 items of interest from Mr. Willerth don't involve items that have specifically come before you, but he thought that it might be of interest. The first is a master development agreement with regard to the estates of the Good Ranch. That is involving a post-development and streamwater setbacks negotiations with Robert Jackson representing the Great Plains Developments. That's been some of the discussion with regard to your stream setback ordinance that I believe will be coming back before this commission for consideration very shortly. They have been able to negotiate resolution to the original master development agreement, hopefully, and that one was approved at, I want to say, a first reading by the City Council and approved by a vote of 8-0. The last one that I have to report on is the Hubach Hill Road annexation. There was a public hearing held on this one. There was no testimony provided from the public at that point, although the homeowners in the area were notified of it. And actually, I don't have a vote on this one. I presume it was approved, but
Sorry, I was thinking about the last one. I think the last one was approved 7-0-1 abstention.
interesting. That is not what Mr. Willer's notes say, but then again,
Okay,
I will defer to you.
okay.
That means he wasn't paying attention at that particular point.
Oh, okay, well, see, I wasn't paying attention on the 10th, so. I'm sorry, what was the question about the
And I
other?
don't have a vote with regard to the Hubach Hill Road annexation noted. It was just
8-0, if
8-0.
I remember right.
There you go.
It was actually just a public hearing.
Oh, that's right, there was no
So
vote
no
needed.
vote
That's
taken.
right.
So
Because
my-
we have to go to
the
the
fact that
county
there's no
now. Thank
notation
you.
here makes sense then.
Our faith in Mr. Willerth is restored.
There you go. That is all I have for the city council reports of both March 24th and March 10th. Again, I'd always invite the mayor or Mr. Cataract to voice in anything that I may have missed.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Zur. Unless anyone has questions about that, we'll move along to the staff report and planning pipeline. Mr. Cataract.
Thank you. I will briefly discuss upcoming meetings of the commission. Our next meeting will be April 15th in 2 weeks, and this is the continued public hearing and discussion on the 19th Amendment to the UDC regarding the stream buffer protection. I do want to note, been given updates each meeting, but we continue to make good progress regarding the 19th Amendment and having discussions with the development community, with interested parties. Mr. Zur indicated that there was a master development agreement created for Mr. Jackson's development in the Good Ranch, the estate villas of the Good Ranch. And the master development agreement is the outcome of discussions that staff had with Mr. Jackson in anticipation of a proposed revision in the ordinance you'll see on April 15th. And the reason we handled it in this manner is the development agreement stands on its own. It is tied to the stream buffer protection, but it's independent of any decision or recommendation you will make regarding the 19th Amendment or potentially any decision that City Council will make. And what I mean by that is it's not dependent on commission or council action, nor are you required to depend on it. So we're not binding your hands in any way, but what the agreement will do is it basically acknowledged the efforts that Mr. Jackson made back in 2006 when he got his preliminary plat approved. His development or his subdivision was one of a couple that actually took into account the streams that crossed through his subdivision and made some very nice provisions for water quality. Some things that Mr. Krass and I and Mr. Eanes felt that we needed to acknowledge that they did and somehow tie that into, if he's complying with the stream buffer, if we can make him exempt from the stream buffer. And the reason that was important to him is because the current team, the current staff is saying that you meet the intents and the requirements of the stream buffer.
Right.
But, you know, when he actually comes forward, there may be a different interpretation of that code.
Sure.
So indicating that he has an exempt status, that we have qualified his plan as being exempt, it's off the table. Once exempt, it's exempt. So it provides him a safeguard that he wanted to have because he knows he's not coming forward with that development for a few years. And again, what it does is it ties very specific things in that he has to accomplish, things that he agreed to in 2006, but it's things that are tied to the property, that carry on to any successors, and that guarantees to the city that we'll have a development that meets the spirit and intent of the ordinance. So we are proposing, when you see the 19th Amendment come to you on April 15th, you'll see we're still proposing to eliminate the exemption for MOUs, but what we're adding is an exemption for a property that has a development agreement. And so, Mr. Jackson, if you agree to include that in the code, then he meets that requirement. If you say, no, we don't want to have that requirement in the code, we still have the agreement with him. He still would then have to comply. He is not exempt because he has that agreement, but we have an agreement with him. that's actually benefits us more than it benefits him at that point. So, I mean, he took a risk with the development agreement and going that path, but I think he believes that it's a reasonable amendment to the UDC to include that language, and so that went forward in advance of the UDC discussion on the 15th. We've also had discussions with Good Otis, that Gib Good and Dave Otis were at the meeting with their attorney, Jim Grice. We've had discussions with those developers regarding this development agreement. There are some things that they would need to accomplish in order to get to that point, and they are working on a stormwater plan for their subdivision, where they're hopeful that they would be able to come to the level of an agreement, but we're not there yet. They are aware of the April 15th date. We're moving forward. We have identified that we still propose to eliminate the automatic exemption for MOUs, and so it puts them in the position where they do need to, if they want the exemption, need to move forward with that plan, that stormwater plan, and a development agreement.
Right.
We have not met with any other developers or had discussions with anybody else. That we've certainly provided notification, as we talked about at your last meeting.
Thank you
We
very much,
provided
yeah.
public hearing notification on the city's outlets for getting the word out, as well as direct mail notice to all the development community, including what we propose as staff to give to you on April 15th. And you'll be getting that shortly as well, to have plenty of time to read through it and look at it. One other developer, the Brookside South development, is another one like the estates that when they came forward in, I believe, 2007 timeframe, also has some very nice things about their plan on stormwater quality, that they may be moving forward with a development agreement. Because again, they have a plan in place that we believe meets the requirements of the stream buffer. So we have made good progress on that. I talk about the development community. We've also made the staff proposal available to the South Grand River Watershed Alliance, which was one of the interested parties at your meeting. And I want to note, I've said this before, but we've had a lot of assistance from David Flick, who was another individual that spoke at your last public hearing. He'll be at your next public hearing. And he's provided some good sound advice for staff and even for the development community to look at regarding the matter. Clearly an expert on the matter. So we've taken a lot of his comments at heart. So that's kind of the update on that. Again, we're at that point now where we're ready to move forward, and hopefully we'll be able to provide that copy to you this week, so you'll have plenty of time in advance to look at that. That's the only item we have on the agenda for the 15th, so it does allow us to focus on that topic. Then at your May 6th meeting, I do have scheduled an item that initially was going to be done tonight, but I did defer it to May 6th. Staff needed a little bit more time to complete the review, just trying to get it in a established format that we could use year in and year out. So that took a little bit of time, and rather than rush it, I decided to move it back 30 days. The GMP does say that we are to do that in April. This year we'll be 30 days late. We'll certainly meet the deadline next year for the April timeframe. And again, that is for your review and consideration, and that currently is the only item we have scheduled for that meeting. So that's currently what we have on the plate. I do know that the Creekmore subdivision has a number of phases that you'll be seeing come forward. Very, very active up there. And so things are going well, and they have a number of final plats that they'll be submitting for your consideration here very soon. But aside from that, I don't have any other applications that I'm currently aware of, other than, again, I mentioned the Ridgeway Villas at the Legends. You'll probably see a final plat or a replat for that project. They simply need to modify when the initial plat came through, there were specific lots provided for every townhome unit, and because they were going to be for sale, and they're eliminating that. This project is initially set out as rental, It is a tax credit project, so it will be rental units for, I believe, 15 years, and then it goes to where the units could be purchased at that point in time. So what they're gonna do is come in and eliminate all the individual townhome lots and just create one large lot for the townhome buildings. But that does require a replat, so I expect that application in shortly as well. So at this time, that concludes staff report.
If you would, remind me, I've totally lost track of the National APA Conference.
That is the last week of April,
Ah.
and I will be attending, and Commissioner Crane is registered to
Okay,
attend.
good,
Yes.
good. I needed a reminder on that. I thought it was coming up soon, but I couldn't remember when, but won't take you away from this April 15th meeting.
I'll be
No-
here for that,
No
yes, sir.
such luck, yeah, thank you.
I don't think I'd be able to go away.
Not if I had any say over it, thank you, Mr. Carteret. Just checking. Okay, so that takes us to public comment. If anyone from the public were here to speak, they would certainly be welcome. And seeing none, we'll go to commission member comment. Vice Chair Burke.
I wanted to say that last week I came to the candidate forum, and the thing that I agreed with from every person that spoke was the gratitude they have for city staff and all the work that's done, and I want to concur with that. The city staff does a great job to help us be educated about our decision-making. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Grodzki.
No comment.
Commissioner Pfizer.
I'm curious as to what sort of national chain sit-down restaurant is possibly coming here, but, they can't tell us. And I want to say happy birthday to my mother-in-law.
Ah. And that's not an April Fool's prank, I
No,
presume.
no, it really
Just
isn't.
checking. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Meiske.
I just wanted to go on record here. May 20th, I will not be here. I will be in Florida.
Okay.
I know that's a little over a month away.
It is a bit of a ways out there, but it comes around a lot quicker than we realize,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
So,
So we'll have to make sure that all the other commissioners
well, I want to make sure Nancy knows.
are here, and
And
of
she
course,
approves it.
a reminder to all of you who are here, and a thank you to the three commissioners that are absent this evening for letting us know that they were going to be absent. We do have one more than a quorum, but it's actually kind of difficult to do business when we're straight out of quorum, because then everything has to be unanimous vote to move forward. So it's very good to have commissioners here. It's also very good to know in advance who's not going to be here, so that we can try to strong arm anybody that's on the fence. So thank you for that, Commissioner Meiske. And Mayor Kirkhoff.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Really? Speechless. I'm shocked.
Well, I was going to say I was going to be absent from a meeting in May, but I, for the life of me, can't remember the date, so I'm not going to say anything.
No, okay. Well, you'll have another opportunity. I don't really have much this evening. It's not a stuck record, but I am very much appreciative of city staff as well. Mr. Eanes, Mr. Zerb, Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Carteret. We could not do this without you, and want you to know that we appreciate all of the effort that you put into supporting us. Sometimes we're a little bit of a challenge, I'm sure. And having said that, if any of the commissioners or mayor want to add anything else, feel free. Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Commissioner, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Thank you. So motion by Commissioner Meiske, second by Commissioner Grodzki to adjourn this evening's meeting. All those in favor, raise a hand, please. And we are 6 in favor. None opposed, no abstentions. Thank you very much.